The adoption papers scattered across the hardwood floor like fallen leaves, each one revealing a truth that shattered everything Alex Bennett thought he knew about his family. Outside, Montana's winter wind howled through the Glacier County ranch house, but the storm inside his chest was far more devastating. Tyler wasn't his brother. 3 weeks had passed since the sterile wedding ceremony at the Kalispell courthouse. 3 weeks since Connor Blackwood had slipped a platinum band onto Alex's trembling finger and spoken words that felt more like a business transaction than marriage vows. No love, no promises, just cold financial reality wrapped in legal documents. The documents revealed what Sarah Bennett had hidden for 9 years before her death. Tyler had been found abandoned at a children's shelter in Missoula, adopted quietly when Alex was 16. But it was the final page that stopped Alex's heart completely. His mother's diary, tucked between the official documents like a time bomb waiting to explode. The entry dated just days before her death read, "The water rights case is getting dangerous. If something happens to me, protect Tyler. Connor Blackwood's family knows the truth about the incident." Incident? Not accident. The crash that killed Sarah Bennett hadn't been random fate. Someone had wanted her silenced. The sudden slam of the front door echoed through the house. Heavy boots crossed the hardwood with purpose. Connor was back early from his business trip to Denver, his presence filling the space with an energy that made Alex's pulse race. When Connor appeared in the bedroom doorway, still wearing his expensive black coat, Alex felt exposed despite being fully clothed. "Pack a bag," Connor said without preamble. "We leave in 2 hours." There was urgency in his tone that made Alex's stomach clench. During their brief marriage, Connor had maintained careful distance. This sudden change felt dangerous. "Leave for where?" Alex asked, the adoption papers feeling like they were burning through the box where he'd hidden them. "California, consider it a belated honeymoon." The word tasted bitter in the air between them, a mockery of what real couples shared. As they drove to Flathead Valley Airport, Alex wondered if Connor knew about the papers, about his mother's final warning. The timing felt too calculated. The private jet waited like a sleek predator, its engines humming with barely contained power. Sometimes the greatest courage isn't found in saying yes to what we want, but in saying yes to what we must do to protect those we love. What started as a business arrangement was about to become something that would either heal two broken souls or destroy them both. Subscribe to Heart Stories for tales where love conquers impossible choices. The Pacific Coast Highway stretched before them like a ribbon of possibility. But Alex felt only dread as their black SUV hugged the curves leading to Big Sur. They had landed at Monterey Peninsula Airport hours earlier, trading Montana's brutal winter for California's deceptive warmth. Connor hadn't spoken during the flight, his attention focused on encrypted phone calls conducted in tones too low for Alex to decipher. The estate materialized from the coastal mist like something from a dream, perched on cliffs overlooking McWay Falls. The modern glass structure seemed to grow from the rock itself. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered breathtaking views of Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park, where the Pacific crashed against ancient stones. It was beautiful and isolating in equal measure. Maria Santos emerged from the entrance, her weathered hands smoothing her apron nervously. The Mexican woman appeared to be in her 50s, with kind eyes that carried shadows. When those eyes met Alex's, something flickered there. Recognition mixed with worry, as if she'd been expecting him, but hoping he'd never arrive. Connor's voice carried authority. "Maria, show Alex to our room. I have calls to make." The possessive pronouns sent chills through Alex's spine. Our room, not separate quarters, not the careful distance Connor had maintained in Montana. The master suite's king-size bed dominated the space, its white linens looking untouched by warmth. But it was the connecting door to Connor's office that made Alex's stomach clench. There would be nowhere to hide. During breakfast on the terrace, Connor's questions felt like interrogation disguised as conversation. He asked about Alex's childhood, about Sarah's environmental activism, about specifics of her accident. Each query was delivered with casual precision, but Alex recognized the calculated nature. Connor wasn't making small talk. He was mining for information. The breaking point came when Connor pulled out a manila folder. Inside were detailed files about the Bennett family dating back decades. Financial records, medical documents, even school report cards. Connor had been researching Alex's family long before their marriage. This wasn't business. It was personal. When Alex confronted him, Connor's mask slipped. His composure cracked to reveal something raw underneath. He admitted attraction to Alex since their first meeting at a cattle auction, when Alex had stepped between his father and Marcus Thorne's intimidation. But there was more. Layers of guilt Connor wasn't ready to reveal. Maria appeared at Alex's side as Connor retreated for another phone call. Her voice was barely a whisper as she pressed a newspaper clipping into Alex's hand. The headline made his blood freeze. Environmental activist dies in suspicious crash. The article detailed Sarah Bennett's lawsuit against Blackwood Mining for illegal water rights violations near sacred native land. The paper was dated days before the accident that claimed Alex's mother. Maria's English was broken but clear. Su madre no fue accidente. Your mother. It wasn't an accident. Connor found Alex on the cliff path that evening, the newspaper clutched in his hands. The sunset painted the Pacific in blood and gold, but Alex saw only darkness. When Connor reached for the clipping, Alex didn't resist. The man he'd married to save his family might be connected to those who destroyed it. For the first time, Connor looked genuinely afraid. The truth hung between them like a blade. In trying to save his family, Alex might have married into the legacy that had destroyed it once. Understanding the difference between guilt and responsibility becomes crucial when love grows in family sin's shadow. The morning walk along Bixby Creek Bridge should have been peaceful, but tension crackled between Alex and Connor like electricity before a storm. The iconic arch stretched across the canyon, its concrete curves contrasting the wild coastline below. Alex couldn't stay silent anymore. The newspaper clipping had burned in his pocket all night. Connor stopped at the bridge's center, gripping the railing until his knuckles went white. When Alex spoke, his voice was steady despite the chaos in his heart. Tell me about my mother's death. Tell me about your family's connection to the water rights case. For a long moment, Connor said nothing. Then, like a dam breaking, truth poured out. William Blackwood, Connor's father, had been more than a mining executive. He believed environmental protesters threatened his legacy and used intimidation tactics to silence them. Sarah Bennett's lawsuit threatened to expose illegal mining operations on Blackfeet Nation land. Connor's voice cracked as he revealed his family's deepest shame. Sarah's car accident hadn't been random. William had ordered his men to sabotage her brakes, disguising it as mechanical failure. The truth emerged only when William lay dying 5 years later. His deathbed confession, a final burden passed to his son. The revelation should have filled Alex with rage, but instead he felt strange relief. Finally, pieces fit together. Connor's obsession with their family, his willingness to pay debts, his careful distance during marriage. It all made sense. This wasn't about business. It was about atonement for sins that couldn't be undone. But Connor wasn't finished. Marcus Thorne wasn't just a rival businessman. He was Connor's former lover from a decade earlier, someone who had betrayed Connor and stolen confidential information. Thorne now ran a competing development company, wanting the Bennett Ranch to complete an energy corridor project worth billions. More dangerously, Thorne possessed evidence of Blackwood family crimes. He had blackmailed Connor for years, demanding business concessions and payments. The marriage to Alex was Connor's attempt to legally protect Bennett property while shielding Alex from Thorne's revenge. Dr. James Yellowstone appeared via video call, the Blackfeet therapist who had been helping Connor process intergenerational trauma. His calm voice introduced concepts of restorative versus punitive justice, suggesting healing required facing the past instead of running from it. That evening, by the infinity pool merging with Pacific Horizon, something shifted between them. Physical attraction that had simmered beneath careful politeness finally broke through barriers of guilt and fear. When Connor pulled Alex into his arms, it wasn't about possession. It was about broken souls finding solace. Their intimacy became healing, each touch acknowledging shared pain. Alex whispered his deepest fear that he was only valuable as debt payment, that no one could love him for himself. Connor confessed terror that he was destined to become his father, taking instead of earning love through worthiness. Their healing was interrupted by a vision feeling real as the man in his arms. Alex saw his mother by McWay Falls, her spirit dwelling in the waterfall. Sarah's message was clear. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting, but choosing love over fear. As they lay together watching stars reflect on dark water, both understood their relationship had crossed a threshold. They were no longer playing roles in business arrangement. They had become partners in healing, united by pain and possibility of redemption. The path to forgiveness often requires walking through truth's fire first. When we carry previous generations' sins, healing becomes courage benefiting everyone touched by our choices. The threatening message arrived with dawn, shattering the fragile peace they'd built. Connor's phone buzzed with encrypted text containing photos that made Alex's blood freeze. Tyler, alone in his Montana group home, unaware that dangerous eyes were watching his every move. The message was simple and terrifying. Surrender Blackwood Enterprises and the Bennett Ranch, or the boy pays for your family's sins. Marcus Thorne had escalated his psychological warfare to a level that made Connor's hands shake. The photos showed Tyler walking to his part-time job, sitting alone at lunch, sleeping peacefully. Someone had been studying Tyler's routine with predatory patience, waiting for the perfect moment to strike at Connor's greatest weakness. Alex's love for his adopted brother, Frank Martinez, Connor's security head, appeared via video call, his calm demeanor replaced by military urgency. Thorne had frozen Blackwood Enterprises' assets through legal challenges, claiming Connor was mentally unfit due to his unstable marriage to Alex. The board demanded an emergency meeting, and investors threatened to pull funding. The impossible choice crystallized with brutal clarity. Connor could fight to save his business empire, 20 years of ruthless ambition, or protect Tyler by surrendering everything Thorne demanded. There was no middle ground and no negotiation that would satisfy a man driven by revenge and greed. But Alex refused to be a passive victim. While Connor prepared to sacrifice his life's work, Alex researched Thorne's background with methodical precision. What he discovered painted a picture of someone who had spent years victimizing families across multiple states, always targeting those least able to fight back. Maria proved an unexpected ally. She revealed detailed records of conversations she'd overheard during previous employment with Blackwood Mining. Her files contained evidence of other families Thorne had terrorized, other victims silenced by fear. They weren't alone in this fight, but building a witness coalition would take time they didn't have. The conspiracy's real scope became clear when Dr. Yellowstone connected them with tribal lawyers investigating illegal mining operations. Tyler's group home sat on land containing a critical water aquifer needed for massive fracking operations. Thorne wasn't just seeking revenge against Connor. He was working with energy companies planning a pipeline worth billions while destroying sacred native sites. Tyler's disability wasn't irrelevant to their plans. It made him an unreliable witness who could be discredited if he tried testifying. Thorne saw Tyler not just as leverage against Connor, but as a liability to be permanently silenced once land deals completed. Strategic planning felt like preparing for war. Connor, Alex, and Maria worked through the night, developing a plan to entrap Thorne by recording him admitting crimes. They contacted the FBI Environmental Crime Unit and Native American Rights Organization, but gathering prosecution evidence required getting Thorne to incriminate himself on record. Connor's transformation during those dark hours was profound. The man who had built an empire through careful control was learning to trust others with his deepest vulnerabilities. When he announced his decision to sign over company assets to protect Tyler, his voice carried no regret, only determination. Their final embrace before battle felt different from earlier passionate encounters. This wasn't about physical desire. This was about two people choosing to face darkness together, knowing they might not survive, but refusing to abandon those they loved. Sometimes the greatest victories require surrendering everything we thought we wanted to protect what we know we can't live without. True power lies not in what we can take, but in what we're willing to give. Marcus Thorne arrived at the Big Sur estate like a storm cloud, his helicopters cutting through morning mist with military precision. He brought Tyler, the young man's confusion evident as guards escorted him across the terrace. But Tyler wasn't helpless. Despite his disability, he wore the recording device Alex had taught him to use, hidden beneath his Montana State sweatshirt. Alex allowed himself to be captured as planned, hands steady despite coursing fear. As Thorne monologued about his conspiracy, revealing details about murdered activists and corrupted officials, Tyler's innocent questions prompted even more damaging admissions. The young man's gentle nature made Thorne underestimate him completely. From redwood groves surrounding the property, Connor coordinated with FBI teams Frank Martinez had positioned overnight. Maria guided Tyler through secret passages she'd mapped during her years at the estate, her knowledge proving invaluable as they moved towards safety. The confrontation climaxed when Tyler, following Alex's emergency training, used the satellite phone to call for help with precise GPS coordinates. His clear report to dispatchers became crucial evidence as federal agents closed in. Thorne's intimidation empire crumbled as recordings captured every confession. The arrests were swift and comprehensive. Thorne faced federal charges, ensuring decades in prison. Energy company executives backing his scheme were indicted in San Francisco federal court, their conspiracy exposed to national scrutiny. 6 months later, Alex stood in the memorial garden he had created on the Montana ranch, surrounded by native wildflowers honoring his mother's environmental legacy. Connor's sustainable agriculture program was thriving, transforming the property into ecological restoration. Maria had moved from California to help manage their community healing center. Their courthouse wedding in Kalispell differed from the first ceremony. Tyler served as best man, his proud smile brighter than autumn sun. Dr. Yellowstone conducted a Blackfeet blessing, acknowledging healing across generations. Connor had publicly apologized for his family's crimes at tribal council, beginning restorative justice that would continue for years. Their new life wasn't perfect, but built on truth rather than convenience. The teenager they were adopting through tribal partnership would arrive next month. The ranch house that once echoed with loneliness, now filled with laughter and chosen family sounds. As northern lights painted the Montana sky, Alex and Connor sat on their porch with Tyler between them, sharing stories about small victories and tomorrow's possibilities. Connor's wealth was rebuilt through legitimate means, but he measured riches differently now. Success meant Tyler's confidence, Alex's peaceful sleep, and knowledge their love had broken generational violence cycles. Their story proved even deepest wounds could heal when people chose courage over comfort, truth over convenience, love over fear. The ranch, nearly lost to greed, became a sanctuary where broken hearts could mend and families be made whole. Have you ever had to choose between what you wanted and what was right? Share your story below. Someone might need to hear they're not alone facing impossible choices. Subscribe to Heart Stories, where every ending becomes a new beginning.